Hey, what's up, y'all? It's your boy Preston here, and this is my post-fight reaction to Brandon Adams defeating Serhii Bohachuk in the rematch, bro. Like, I'm not gonna lie, bro. Like, I never knew this fight happened, but like, to be honest. But let me just go give y'all like my thoughts on who I would have thought would have won, like in this fight. Like the early, like, honestly though, like Brandon Adams, dude, like he's been consistent, dude. Like if you look at his record before he fought Serhii the second time, he stayed consistent, hasn't lost, won all of his fights in good fashion too. You know what I mean? And that's the thing and shit like that. He won in good fashion, and stuff like that. So it's like, Serhi's also really good. He's also a very good fighter, and shit like that. You know, but it just, Brandon Adams already knew what he needed to do. You know what I mean? So heading into the fight, I would have picked Brandon Adams in this fight because Brandon Adams is extremely underrated, bro. Like literally, like a lot. Nobody talks about Brandon Adams. Like it's more of kind of just his like who he fight like where like the channels he fights on, and just more just like like he doesn't really get main events like that. You know what I mean? And now proving it, bro, I feel like this nigga's a main event fighter, bro. Like I'm not gonna lie, bro. Like this dude is a main event fighter. Like he fought at an elite level, bro. Like I'm like, huh? Like I'm flabbergasted, bro. Like I'm just saying, like this dude fought at a high level, bro. Like literally at a fucking high level. Like this dude fucking like bounced from this way to that way, was beating up, Serhii in the inside, bro. And Serhii is a good ass fighter, bro. Like people don't understand. Like this dude, in my opinion, I thought he beat Virgil Ortiz, bro. Most people picked, like, I mean, not picked, but like most people at the end of that fight again, like when he fought Virgil, a lot of people thought that Serhii won that fight. There was people that thought it was a draw. There was people thought that that Virgil edged the fight. But honestly, bro, I thought that Serhii did enough to winning that fight. But obviously, they ain't gonna just give that fight to Serhii like that, and shit like that. You know what I mean? And that's the thing. Not saying Virgil wasn't hurting Serhii. He was definitely hurting Serhii, but Serhii was just landing no more shots and was countering Virgil, time after time after time, and shit like that. You know what I mean? Like, bro, anybody who doesn't believe me, bro, go and rewatch that fight, bro. Like, I'm just saying, dude. Like, Serhii won that fight. Like, I'm just saying. Like, Serhii won that fight. Like, I am just saying, bro. And this dude, Brandon Adams, went in here and outclassed, like, first time, like the first fight, like honestly, if you look at it, the fight was kind of similar. I kind of find the first fight more competitive, but Brandon Adams stopped Serhii Bohachuk, in the first fight. And that was on NBC Boxing, or ABC Boxing, NBC or ABC Boxing or whatever, and like between those two, like I know it was an odd channel that boxing usually it wouldn't be on, and nowadays it wouldn't be on that no more. But it was between NBC and ABC Boxing it was on, and stuff like that, And Brandon Adams, dude, like he stopped them. The first time he like throughout the fight he was out working Serhii, but it was a competitive, but Serhii I believe was the favorite in that fight, and shit like that, because he was undefeated, and stuff like that, and Brandon Adams he was still trying to prove himself. It's like that was like a big stepping stone, like at that time zone for Brandon Adams, because at the time though, Brandon Adams, if you guys remember, and stuff like that, Brandon Adams fought Jamal Charlo, and stuff like that, And honestly, I never really watched fully that fight yet, and shit like that. Like, all I know is that fight was a really good fight, and shit like that, you know what I mean? And that's the thing, and I'm pretty damn sure it was, and shit like that. But I can probably see how that fight ended up, and shit like that. But man, oh man, bro, Brandon Adams is back, bro. Like, I'm happy to see Brandon Adams back, bro. Like, I'm just saying, like, this dude, like, man, bro, like, if I do a video of this, of a fight like this, bro, it means it was serious, bro. Like, I'm, like, literally, bro, like, I want to see him fight, like, some, like, better fighters, bro. I don't even, like, because I think he's at, like, 154 right now. Like, shit, he could fight, like, well, I mean, Virgil, I think who the hell is Virgil Ortiz fighting? I know Virgil's fighting somebody really good, and stuff like that, but I have no clue who he's fighting. But yeah, and stuff like that. Actually, matter of fact, let me go check. Erickson Lubin, that's what Virgil Ortiz is fighting. That's gonna be a damn good fight though. But anyways though, but I'm just saying though, but like between Bohachuk and Adams, man, like I'm just saying, man, like this, like I'm kind of frustrated how I didn't really know that this fight happened, though. To be honest with you, like I really wish I would have known that this fight would have happened, and stuff like that. You know what I mean? And that's the thing and shit, because it's like, because this is a good buildup of a fight. You know what I mean? Also, actually, you know what would be a good fight? For Brandon Adams, Carlos Adames. I feel like Carlos Adames would be a good fight for him, and shit like that. That would be a good clinical fight, and stuff like that, to try to, like, get his name up there and stuff like that, I mean, if you beating guys like Serhii Bohachuk, I mean, like, might as well go and fight for the belt, you know what I mean? Like, that's the thing and shit, so I'm just saying, so what a fucking win by this dude, man. What a fucking win. Hold up, I need to find damn it. Hold up, guys. Hold up, team. Alright, we back, though. But I'm just saying, though, but, like, he could fight, because he's at 154, right? 154. So, I mean, like, either 154 or 160. But I feel like it shouldn't matter, and shit like that, But I'm just saying, man, like, Carlos Adames or, Jamal Charlo. And shit like that. Have a rematch with Jamal Charlo. And shit. There's definitely fights out there for him, bro. Definitely a lot of fights out there. But, like, hold up. Let me see what other fights we got for him. But, yeah, man, look at all the fights that we got, We got Jedybek, Alib Kadalov, which I think he would put up a good fight with Alib Kadalov, and stuff like that. Irislandi Lara, Carlos Adames, you know what I mean? But then we also got, different guys like Chris Eubank Jr., you know what I mean? Like, I feel like that would be a good fight for, Brandon Adams. But I believe that there's already a rematch clause with Eubank and Ben, and shit like that, or whatever the fuck, and shit like that, So, that's the thing and shit. So I believe that's already going to be in the works or something. I don't really know, and shit like that, But, I mean, I would think that would be a good fight, and stuff like that, we got, he already beat Shane Mosley Jr., by the way, and stuff like that. I didn't know that. Like, I looked at Brandon Adams' record. I swear to God, bro, like, he beat Shane Mosley Jr. See right here, he beat Shane Mosley Jr. by unanimous decision in 2018. Granted, I mean, Shane Mosley Jr. is, I mean, he can be a really good fighter, but then he can also not be very good at the same time. It kind of just depends on the style that he's facing, and shit like that. You know what I mean? But still, he beat Shane Mosley Jr. You know what I mean? And, hold up, sorry about that. And then also, hold on, let me get hold on. Can I get that ad out of there? I don't really know. But yeah, you know, and then you see right here, you know, and stuff like that, you know, like he beat Serhii twice, bro. First time was a TKO, second time was a unanimous decision, you know, and stuff like that. And then oh, he actually did recently lose actually against this Andreas Kutrakis dude. He sounds familiar. But either way, though, he still went in there and beat Serhii Bohachuk. So, I mean, that Katsarikis dude must be pretty good, you know, and stuff like that. You know what I mean? But I told you, man, he beat Shane Mosley Jr. Another good fight, though, for Brandon Adams is, shoot, man, it was literally right on my fucking head, bro. Damn. Hold up, guys. Austin Emma Williams. I feel like that would be a good fight, to be honest. You know, I feel like actually out of all the fights, you know, and stuff like that, you know, I feel like that would get, like, for both fighters, you know, a good stepping stone, you know, for their kind of match, you know what I mean? You know, and stuff like that. That would be a good fight, you know, and stuff like that, you know, between Brandon Adams and, or between Austin Emma Williams and Brandon Adams, you know, and stuff like that. You know, if I would guess who would be the favorite in that fight, you know, probably Emma Williams, because Emma Williams is a good fighter. Like, you know, he is a really good fighter. You know, he just got beat by a weight bully of what's his name, Hamza Shiraz, you know, and stuff like that. Because Hamza Shiraz should be like should be like 160, I mean 160. I want to say weight bully, you know, and stuff like that. But I would just say more of a height bully, you know, and shit like that, because like, if you look, Austin Emma Williams was catching Hamza Shiraz. You know what I mean? Like, he was really catching Hamza. You know, moments where he could have stopped Hamza. But Hamza just came through and was able to stop him. You know, and shit like that. It was an all-out brawl. You know, and shit like that. You know what I mean? But that's the thing. You know, Emma Williams is a brawler. You know, he's a boxing-type brawler. You know, and he also carries power, you know, and shit like that, you know. But, you know, with Brandon Adams, he's a smart, articulate boxer, you know what I mean? Like, he knows how to box you in the inside, the outside. He knows how to land his own power, you know, and stuff like that, you know. Like, he also has his own shebang, too, you know what I mean? And that's the thing and shit, you know. So, I feel like that would be a good fight, you know, and stuff like that. And honestly, out of all the fights, I would rather see that, actually, you know, between Austin Emma Williams versus Brandon Adams. And yeah, but thank y'all for watching this video. Make sure you guys like and subscribe. I'm Preston. Peace out.